Guys, Georgia here, back with another one, continuing with Phantasmal Flames. Y'all know what time it is. Continuing with Phantasmal Flames, and in the same one with our booster box, but we have Umbreon there because you guys know, usually evolutions represent, you guessed it, Prismatic. We're gonna do this box of Prismatic. These guys have the 8 tins and the promos there, but you know, can't really be Georgia video. We don't have something of equal. So we got 2 of these bad boys, meaning we have 32 packs, and obviously these 4 loose packs are going to be the 36v36. So make sure to stick around and see what we get. So obviously we're going to start off with Prismatic, because if you guys know me and if you've been part of the channel, Prismatic is just traumatic in another way of saying it. Obviously here we have to do it like this because we never know if there's going to be a god pack or not, but we don't really open up much of, well, we have actually opened up a whole bunch of Prismatic, but in that same reason we know why we call it traumatic, because of those exact points. Hopefully you guys get some use out of those codes, because again, that's basically the only thing we expect from here, the codes. So nothing there as well. Other than that, what are we expecting? Where we're hoping to get? Nothing. We're not really expecting much. We're not expecting anything. Just like Hugo said, if anything comes out, that's good. If not, well, nothing is surprising there. Because, again, traumatic evolutions for a reason. But Umbreon EX, so at least that's good. I don't know how much it's worth now at this point, but those used to be worth a good amount. And I'm pretty sure it's still the highest value EX of the set, so that's something worthwhile at least. But other than that, nothing big so far, just EXs, which is to be expected, which is another EX. Again, what we did there, I just mixed up all the tins, because again, each tin had 2 packs, 8 tins, so you know the math, 16 packs, put in piles of 12. And then the leftover 4 loose ones we had, that's just added to one of the ones where there was leftover tins, not put in the piles of 12, and that's how it's going to be done. Other than that, what we're expecting from here is hopefully Phantasmal Flames brings the heat in comparison to obviously traumatic evolutions, because we're not expecting much, if anything, from traumatic. $3.84 from that Umbreon, and we got our Pokeball. First Pokeball of the video, but not much again as well. It used to be worth more than that, at least that's what I remember, but now that we're out of this point, you never know how that's gonna happen. Reverse energy in comparison to the regular energies, but at least we're getting things like the buddies. We got our Executor Pokeball, and that's it. Pokeball EX, and nothing else. And from these tins, can't really expect anything else either. Only thing that was different is that you get all the evolutions in their Cosmic Hollow, and in the end, who cares about that too? It's not like they're promos or anything, it's just the same EVs that you can get from here, just probably different hollow. But already almost done. Last 2 of 2. So that's our last 2 tins to go here. You can tell I'm so hyped with Prismatic. Prismatic is honestly one of the ones that I don't like to open, but we do get it a lot because, again, you could have that moment where you get those evolutions, which the only evolutions we've pulled on the channel, I think, are Flareon and Jolteon. So, and then goes to show you we still have a lot to be able to pull here, which I doubt we'll be lucky enough to get. But last 2 packs, and then we're gonna move on to something maybe a little more interesting, hopefully, with Phantasmal Flames. Yeah, Espeon, they're all in the 200 range. We've pulled, and then Jolteon, Flareon, Eevee. We've pulled a lot of the other ones. We've pulled Deluge, we've pulled Raging Bolt. We haven't pulled Blood Moon. We've pulled Goldango. We've pulled a lot of the alts. That's the thing. We just haven't pulled many of the evolutions. We've pulled Iron Valiant. The evolutions are the ones that are not hanging here much. And obviously not even the more expensive ones. We've pulled the cheaper ones. Even though cheap is not really cheap either. They're still in the 100 range. Some of them are in the 200 range. But we have our Umbreon there in order to invoke, obviously, Umbreon. But first round, diddly squat. So now we're moving on to probably the better part of the video. Whenever we get to here, I'm going to be saying that. Because again, here, obviously, we already have that done. It's black and white that we don't have done because of the Master Balls and the Pokeballs. But here, Phantasmal Flames, small ass set, 132 cards, and we only are missing 2 of those cards. So if you hear me mention it and you're subscribed and you're seeing these videos, you're gonna hear me mention the cards that we're missing now, because again, just those 2 cards are what we're missing. Sharpedo and our Hyper Rare is the other one. But as you can see, Prismatic left us with a no throne in the first round, which doesn't surprise me with Prismatic. And let's see what this one ended up being with Mega Sharpedo. We need Sharpedo, so maybe that's a sign. So far, no throne here as well for Phantasmal, meaning that there's still a variable here where if it does happen and no throne ends up coming for Phantasmal as well, that means the second half will be loaded in comparison to this one. Because no throne for Phantasmal will be kind of interesting here at the start, because that would mean we've only gotten EXs from one side, which would be surprising in my point of view. But at the end, it's not impossible, because you get like 7 or 8 EXs anyways. So if we get all the EXs out of the way first, that'll be very nice. It's not like we're really doing a comparison or a who's gonna win this video. It's more of just we're opening. Whoopa! We got a whoopa! We're really mostly opening because just to keep getting more Phantasmal, and so that we could see if Prismatic ends up giving some stuff anyways in the end. But not much hope in that area. But still, it's not like we're comparing again who's gonna win, who's not gonna win. Phantasmal is in most of the senses gonna win. I'm pretty like 99% sure it would win this video if we did a comparison video. But here we're just trying to see if we can get those final 2, just 2 guys, 2, and then we have the master set, just 2 of them. You already pulled 2 Mega Charizards, the secret illustration rare. So now we just need the hyper rare, which is the gold one. So supposedly, well, if you go by that logic, it is harder to get the gold one. We pulled 2 of the alts, so it is by that logic harder to get the gold. But now that's all we need in comparison to that. So would you say that's luck? In a sense, because we did pull the bigger card twice instead of that lower one, but now we are searching for it. Our Wiggly Tough, and our 3 EXs, so 2 illustrations and 3 EXs so far. Way more illustrations. Obviously, in Prismatic, there are no illustrationers because of all the alt possibilities. Rotom, our little boy Rotom, but so far already 6 hits. 6 hits for this side of Phantasmal Flames, which means maybe the others will have another 6 as well, which we won't because it can't be 18. Now onto our next trauma dump here with Prismatic. Let's see how these guys go. Again, we're just wanting now at this point, hopefully we get a throne card, because if we go all the video without a throne, goes to show you how much. There's a master. Speaking of it, we got our master, Houndour, and a Pokeball. So this guy will be a throne because he is a master ball, not just a regular old Pokeball. So throne for him. If that's our only throne this video, goes to show you why Prismatic is more traumatic than anything. But we got our throne as we were speaking it. That does happen sometimes, not always, that we get our throne or we get something that I'm talking about as we are talking about it, and then shuts my mouth. But doesn't another master But that doesn't happen always. That's the issue. But we got another master. I like Houndour more than I like Pinsir. So he will just go to the back instead of taking the throne. But again, shuts my mouth up. Me saying we're not going to get a throne card. And then we ended up getting 2 Master Balls. Which if you think about it, maybe they're not throne cards. I don't know. We hardly ever put regular cards, but it's not a regular card. It's a Master Ball, obviously. If it was a regular Pokeball, then yes, definitely not getting on the throne. But it's a variation of that, so then yes, it needs to be on the throne in comparison to the regular Pokeball. But now with what we've been searching for, not really searching for anything now here, and there's our full art. So I will switch it out because, again, full arts illustration rares would usually take the throne, so Armella will take the throne there next to our Palden Wooper. But again, full arts do take the thrones at times, but if an illustration rare comes out, I switch it out pretty quickly, even though here that's not going to happen because there, again, no illustration rares here in Prismatic. But we'll see how it turns out with what we're gonna get. We could get a Crispin. We're probably just gonna switch it out with another full art when it comes to that point. But other than that, it's gonna stay. Our little Fire Girl, her alter ego. All these guys, you can easily tell who they are when they're in their team. But we got our Spritzy and another EX. That does happen too. The pile ends up growing more and more on Prismatic because you do get a whole bunch of Pokeballs and EXs that are doing diddly squat, but they do come out constantly. That's the thing with Prismatic. Hits, you're probably just going to get a bunch of hits, but they're pretty useless hits in the end. At this point, there's still a lot of staples here. There's still useful staples, but a lot of people don't really need them anymore because they're cards that come out in other sets as well. So if they wanted it at one point, they could have just gotten it from a different set. And usually people don't have any more of them unless they're trying to make a whole bunch of decks, but usually it's not a very common thing to do. Got our Shame in there. This one is coming with all the hits. Nothing good, but hey, it's in comparison to the previous one, it had 6 hits in total. This one's probably already doubled what the other one did. Here, the energy doesn't really mean diddly squats, at least for us, that we haven't even seen a god pack. We've seen demigods. We haven't seen any gods here. But let's keep going. 3 packs left. At least we're getting some hits now. Nothing super big again. Just some Master Balls and our full arts. But other than that, nothing to bark about. 2 more packs to go. Let's hope for some luck here. Which, with Prismatic, I don't really hope much for in this one. But whatever we get, it ends up being something good in the end. Or at least that's what we wish and hope for. But our last pack here, leaving it down to the next round. If we get anything, no, you could probably tell in my intonation, my voice, I don't really expect much from Prismatic. We have gone over and over again. Traumatic evolutions for a reason, but we're getting our Pokeballs and our EXs at least. Now let's see and move on to the interesting part. Even though, again, hit-wise, we're gonna get less, but we're actually gonna get some interesting things here in comparison to what we would be getting in Prismatic. So we still have a lot of cards to get, or a lot of interesting cards to look at, because again, we only are missing 2 from the master. So in that sense, we could still get a lot of cool looking cards. And again, this is a booster box, so we're kind of hoping and expecting that we're going to get an alt. We have those chances of a hyper as well. So we'll see if the cookie crumbles by the time I say that, or my dumb sayings that hopefully we get something, hopefully invoke something, because that does happen sometimes as well. We have our cards in the back, invoking as well. Charizard's is everywhere, so we should get at least something Charizard-wise. But Mismagius and Mismagius, our full art Mismagius and our regular Mismagius, that's 2 full arts so far. We haven't pulled an item full art, but that is making us tremble a little bit because, again, the full arts do sometimes take up those spots of the good stuff. So hopefully we didn't get much of those. If we don't get any more, will be even better because, again, like I'm saying, they do take up spots of some things because in Japan, at least, I think rarity-wise are also considered like secrets or something like that. So, well, hopefully we won't be getting them at least. With what we have here so far, can't say we got 6 in the first round. Here we've gotten 2 so far. It's not bad at all. It's already 8. If you go to the big point where you could get 16 in the box, which in our previous video, if you haven't checked that one out, go ahead and check it out. We did get 16 hits in the booster box, and we did get an alt, so you guys are gonna have to go back, check that one out to see what alt we did get. But 16 hits came out in that booster box, so, and that's pretty common, at least from what I've been seeing. Usually those are like god boxes, and that could still be a god box here, just that rarity wise maybe you don't get the hyper as well, when you would usually get that 16 hit rate with a hyper and an alt in the box. And still it's coming here because you're getting like 4 illustrations per booster. At least that's what we've been observing so far. We already have 2 of them, so we get another 2. It is basically what you're going to be getting for a booster box. Speaking of it, Piplup, very good one to be getting here, our Piplup boy. Even though, again, I think I said in a previous one, not here, or maybe at the beginning, can't really recall, this one has gone down in price. Now it's 13 bucks when it used to be like 30 or 20 something at least, but now 13, which is gonna happen again. Even though the Meowth is also one that's in the 20s, he is coming down because the big mover here is obviously our boy Charizard. But our last pack for these 12. Let's see how it ends up. We got 1 more hit and maybe another EX. That'll be 5 for this round. But we end with nothing else. But now back to trauma. And the last of the trauma. Let's see if we end up with something worthwhile here. It is one of the lesser ones in the sense that it's not that great to not get anything from here, but all you need is that one card and it changes everything, guys. So yes, Prismatic is one of my least favorite to open up, but if you get something, it becomes your fave, obviously, at that point. So let's see if we get lucky enough. Again, these are all tins and loose packs. Those 4 last loose packs that we had, but could have absolutely nothing in them because, again, we have noticed that, we have not noticed it, or in the sense that sometimes it does happen, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes these boxes that have specific amounts of things like, this tin has 5 packs. Usually those 5 packs have nothing in them. Sometimes you get that one lucky one where you do, but they usually end up not being those lucky ones, at least for us, or at least maybe for you too, because these promo boxes is just to say, you have all the tins now. If you're interested in collecting the tins at all, and another Umbreon. So there's our 3 EX Umbreon so far for this video. But other than that, nothing interesting so far. Not even the 2 Master Balls are pretty interesting because they're not evolutions either. So seeing the Evolution EX and then being Umbreon, we haven't pulled another one of the other types. So there's a Gaicomo, which I will be switching out Armella for because can't have the same throne card the entire video, obviously. Even though in the first round we had nothing, got to switch out Gaicomo at least for this one. Now let's see. Nothing huge, nothing big, nothing surprising from Prismatic. So, it goes to show you how we feel towards that one. There's our Pokeball Leafeon, which I'm pretty sure ain't really much of anything there as well. Master Ball, maybe we would be a little more interested, but Pokeball, not that big of a deal. But there's our code. Hopefully these code cards are at least helpful to y'all. With that energy like that, it makes me think, oh, it's gonna be like Black and White. You got something good, but it's freaking this. It's freaking this. We got something at least. Hearth, Flame, Mask, Ogerpon. But again, from everything we could have gotten, obviously our Umbreon, highest value card from there. We get this guy, which value right there. So, not that big, not that great, but still, hey, we got something from Prismatic. 18 bucks. Pretty sad for a freaking alt. Is the cheapest alt? Is the worst alt? I think it's the worst alt. No, the worst alt is the trainers. The trainers obviously are the worst alts, but from them it's all the masks. The masks after that are the worst ones. So, we got something at least. With Traumatic, even when you're on the high, it's not that great. But hey, we got something from here. And I like the card. It looks cool at least. So, who knows? We'll check it out later on. But nothing super big from there. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be the only thing. So, let's go through these 3 packs quickly so we can see how disappointed we are by the end of it. But, again, it does bring up the high a little bit, even though it is just that card. It's an alt, though, so, but it's not the big thing we're hoping for with Prismatic. Last 2 packs. No real point here in doing the God Pack thing because I'm really getting a freaking God Pack. Those 3 were at least evolutions, but the same Pokeball Leafeon. And now let's see how we're done here in our last one. Last code. Hopefully the codes were at least useful to y'all. But nothing here probably to finish off with. Nothing. So, that was it. Okay, so let's see if we get something done here in our last packs of Phantasmal Flames as well. We haven't pulled anything big. Big because in the sense that we haven't pulled an alt. We haven't pulled a hyper, obviously. So, if Phantasmal Flames ends up not giving us one when our Ignition Energy... Ooh, that's not a good point. That's 3 full arts with that item. So, if Phantasmal Flames ends up not giving us anything big and freaking Prismatic ended up giving us something, it's going to show you that duality there. But that Ignition Energy does not breathe well because we already pulled Rotom and Miss Magius full art. That is an item full art and it still counts as a full art. So let's see if that ends up screwing us over or if that happens and we still get everything else. So because that can happen. You still get everything else, you still get 3 full arts, and then you end up getting an alt. So it all depends on, will Prismatic in the end here for this video not have been traumatic, even though everything else was crap, or will we be let down by Phantasmal Flames here in this booster box? Because we have opened booster boxes where we didn't get an alt, obviously, or a hyper rare, and it wasn't Phantasmal, gooder, some of the better illustration rares. Which, speaking of, the Meowth illustration rare is more expensive than that guy. Like, come on. But if we end up getting it, I'll show you guys the comparison of both of them. Even though one is an illustration rare and one is an alt, it does feel and does go that way. But there's our Charizard. So far, 12 hits. Those 2 ended up making it 12 hits. We got another 5-6 packs, including this one. So, let's see. Luck be a lady. And hopefully we get that alt. There's that second illustration rare. Second, by that I mean our last illustration rare. That's number 4. Just because he did come out right now, he'll be taking the throne. But still got 5 more packs. Those are 4 illustrations. in this box so far. 3 full arts. I think we already got all of our EXs as well. So there should be something here. Kidding. There was another EX. But we've gotten a lot of them already. So with these last 4 packs, really bringing it down to the wire with what we have left. Nothing so far. Again, the Piplup has been the biggest hit from here. But other than that, being very tedious, or not, it's being very coy. It's being very coy because we haven't pulled it, guys. We haven't pulled it. Ambipom. With our last 2 packs, we got our Lopunny pack. If we can get an alt of Lopunny. So let's see. And I think what Ugo's saying, I think he jinxed it. It's gonna end up being a no alt pack. Well, let's see. Last pack, Gengar. Will Gengar bring some luck here in the finals? And just because it is the final, I'll take it a little slower and see the entire pack. But our Nimble, Apom, Tauros, got our Survivor, Nimble again, Mimikyu, wow, and Moltres. Ugo brought it into existence. We got no alt, and I think this has been one of the lower hit boxes as well. So we got 12 Pokeball kits from our Prismatic. Got all these EXs, which a lot of these are Umbreons, so 3 Umbreons as well. Got our 2 full arts, Mela and Gaikomo, 2 Master Balls, Pinsir and Houndour. And here, our freaking alt from Prismatic. He gets the gold crown, even though I'm giving this guy around here. He's going first. Didn't want to leave it, even though it is Prismatic, and even though it is an alt. Not really the best alt either way. But then we have our Rotom, all of our EXs here. And this is obviously more what you guys want to see, probably. Phantasmal Flames. Got our 3 full arts, which again, the Ignition Energy did end up taking our alt. And like Ugo said, whenever we put something up against Prismatic, Prismatic sometimes ends up getting the hit, and here we end up getting nothing from the other one. But our 4 illustration rares, they're all pretty equal in the sense that they have these 3 guys, little guys with backgrounds. Only one that doesn't have that is Wigglytuff. But that's been the video, guys, and I've been Georgia. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like, a comment, a subscribe. Help to the channel. Go ahead and hit that notification bell as well so you guys know when we upload, because here we are with Phantasmal Flames. You know, the next one, Ascended Skies or something like that, the one with Dragonite, is going to be coming soon. So hit that notification bell so you guys know when we upload, and share the video as well so we can have people join the community and see the kinds of hits that we're getting. That's been it. Have a good morning, good afternoon, and a good night whenever you're watching. Peace out.